What's going on, everybody? Welcome into another episode and a new season of the What the Puck podcast. I'm Nick. That's Gunk up there. You guys know the drill. And Gunk, we're back for another season. Bubba, how we doing?
Woo! We can't. We are super excited over here. The moves, the players that we've gotten. Oh, do I have to say it? The betting lines are saying it. I don't know. Let's see how it plays out.
It's
And we got another Madden curse going on, unfortunately. So we'll get into that in a little bit. But Nick, how was your summer?
Gunk.
We've
It
been
was.
off a little bit.
Yeah, we have been off for a little bit. We've been enjoying our off season. We hope you guys have been as well. Just trying to wait for hockey to come back, and the preseason starts soon. But my summer was good. I've just been working, making my money. But the biggest news of my summer is I got a new car.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Love that.
I got rid of the old lemon that I used to have for 5 years, and now we are rocking a beautiful 2024 Hyundai Elantra.
All right. God bless. Good car too. Very
Yes,
good car.
gorgeous car, sleek car. I could not be happier with this. I got a pretty good deal on it, pretty good payments, so we are all set. We are all tidy.
Beautiful. Love to hear that.
And yeah, we've just been grinding away, trying to get everything squared away and figuring everything out, looking for new jobs in my career and everything. So we're making moves over here. We're making moves. But how are you doing, my brother? We haven't talked in a while.
I know. That's okay. Like I said, summer was the summer. Like I said, work. Like you said, work. Did a few things here and there. Like I said, I kept to my schedule. Again, if nobody knows knows me or hears me, I am the retail junkie. I love working retail. I've been there 7 months and I'm almost like a supervisor already. So the Gunk takeover at the Stop and Shop is starting. I worked my ass off, kicked butt. I'm on full time. Let's go.
Hell yeah. I've been seeing your
We are doing
TikToks
it here.
recently on your own personal page, so I see that you're getting
Oh.
stuff going.
Yes, unfortunately, like I said, we're not going to that. As you can see right here, boom, we are about one country right now. And in this podcast, we talk hockey. Boom.
Yes,
Nothing else.
sir.
Yes, yes, if you follow, you can look into our friends on TikTok and see my name clearly right there. If you want to jump over for that kind of content, I'm perfectly cool with that. If not, stay with us, and you're going to get your hockey news right every week this season.
Damn
Let's go.
straight. And if you want to get more into the hockey news besides just the podcast, make sure you check out at What the Puck Pod on everywhere that you can find us. We're on pretty much all social medias. With this season, we're going to be getting a lot more into the social media aspects. I definitely will be. I'll be doing a lot more. You'll be seeing a lot more on the channel besides just the pods. I'm going to be doing a lot more stuff going into the Rangers and everything. And we're going to be taking into another fantastic season. So I think we can just,
Super.
I think we could just get right on into it and start talking about the
absolutely.
Devils.
Yes.
Because last season, as we left off, the Devils did not have the season they were anticipating. It was not overly good. They finished the season with a 38-39-5 record for 81 points, 7th in the Metro, and missed the playoffs.
Yes,
You can go back,
unfortunately.
listen to all of our episodes, and hear all of Gunk's rants about how bad the Devils were at times and what was going on with their defense, their goaltending, their everything. And it's seeming like a lot of those issues are solved now.
Fingers crossed. That's all I gotta say right now. Fingers crossed. As we go into training camp, should be opening up tomorrow for the Devils, I believe. I think the players are coming in for their physicals this morning, and they should be either on ice or ready to go in a day or so. First preseason game is on, I think it is Saturday or Sunday. I think it's Saturday against the Islanders.
Give you a Google on that.
So looking forward to that. We got a couple brand new faces on the team this year.
Yes,
especially
we
on the,
do.
on the defense side. Our big signing of this year, Mr. Brett Pesce. He came from the Carolina Hurricanes, really solid. I would say second pair defenseman is going to go good with one of the young kids once they come back. Again, we'll get to that in a minute. Comes back from injury. He's going to match up well with them. He's a veteran presence on the ice for, I would say, a youngster like a Luke or a Shimon Nemeth. He would match up perfectly with one of them. It's a perfect combination. I feel like their defense, when they get everyone back, is gonna be one of the top offensive and defensive pair sixums in the NHL.
Oh yeah, I totally agree with you. Because even looking back at last season, when he was with Carolina, he was one of the most prominent defensemen on that team and in the East. I mean, he was constant. He was one of those players that you saw on the ice and you noticed every single time he was on the ice with his plays, with his skill, with just his mindset. He was just solid all around because you're not getting him for points. I mean, he only had 3 goals, 10 assists for 13 points in 70 games last year. So you're not really getting him for that. You're getting him for his ability to play well in front of his goaltender and make sure that not a lot of shots are always getting through like you saw last season, because that was the issue at times. The Devils were getting shelled early on, letting in a lot of goals early on, and it was really hurting them in terms of where their decor already was, which was already hurting from Dougie not being there, and really just trying to figure it out from there. But I also feel like you're going to see a lot better of a defensive core under Sheldon Keefe than you will Lindy Ruff, because Ruff at this point in his career, I don't feel like he's that in tune with the game. You may see something different now that he signed with Buffalo, but with the signing that you made to be able to get Pesci locked up 6 years, 5.5 per, your defense is already getting better from there, and you can really see that the Devils want to get back to that contention spot that they were 2 seasons ago, and just really try to get back in there. And like you said, Pesci will really be able to slot in good with those newer guys like Luke, like Nemeth.
Absolutely.
So you're really going to be able to see a good, solid bolstering of that defensive core, and you'll see that more with a signing they made with Brendan Dillon from the Winnipeg Jets.
That was my next. Yep, that was the next thing I was getting to, was the Dylan. Nice, again, 6 defenseman, beautiful. He could score when he doesn't score a lot, but he gets when he gets chances, he can put it in the net. He's one of the tough guys. He's a big guy, so I mean, again, it's gonna just solidify that defense, especially in that third pairing. And another defense, really, like, it's going to be an underrated thing, I think, this year, especially going in early in these first couple games of the season, is going to be the kid from Montreal. He is a solid, like, nice 7th defenseman. Jonathan Kokieni. You know me with these Russian names. Still haven't gotten the Russian names down, guys. Sorry. Kokniemi, I think it is, right?
Let me check. Devils roster, baby. Why is it this plus forwards first?
By the way, folks out there, I would have had this looked up, but my kid took my media guide that I bought specially for my podcast.
Man.
So if Miss M, if you're listening to this, bring my book back for next week. Thank you.
All right,
because she's gonna listen to this.
Is Jonathan Kovacevic?
Kovacevic, that's what it is. Yes. Again, if you look at his stats, again, he's a back AHL, NHL, but he's got some NHL experience, and like I said, with these injuries coming up, he's going to be a good 6th defenseman to slot in, or just have him scratched as a 7th defenseman. I mean, you can't get any worse than that as your like 7th defenseman. And you still got Nick DeSimone, I think, coming back too. So
yes.
he's gonna be one of those AHL, NHL, back and forth kind of guys. So, I mean, not even, like I said, our top ones are really great defensemen, our top 4. But even at the 5, 6, and the scratch players, the back end, we are solid in that end too. So I feel like Fitzgerald really went after the defense this season, this off season, and I think he nailed it. I think the back end is 1,000% better than it was going into last year, and we were excited about last year about the defense. And like I said, just the injury bug and everything just fell apart for the team. Goaltending fell apart, which again we'll go back to now, Mister. Yes, I have the shirt on that we had in the video, baby. There you go.
There we go.
There you go. The mark, baby.
Hey, there it is.
Yeah. I am wearing it with pride. I love my shirt that I got for 40% off
As you
watch our
damn well
TikToks.
should. And
But
continuing on with the defense, you got massive depth here too. You got Seamus Casey, who's a good young player.
yes,
Uh, Santeri Hack. We always
Haka.
met.
I know what you're talking
Hataka.
about.
We always mess up that name. Even last year, we were butchering
Even
that name.
last year, yeah. Old Sandy.
And
He's still, yep.
if you're looking at the defense, you're gonna see one name. We had mentioned it when he got traded last during the beginning of the offseason, near the end of the playoffs and everything. Is this team gonna miss John Marino after getting traded to Utah?
I feel like with the Pesci and the Dillon signings, I don't think they will miss him. Again, it's basically it's going to be addition by subtraction. Unfortunately, we pulled in better players. We got a draft pick for him. I mean, like I said, good luck to him in Utah. I'm rooting for him because he's gonna be one of my favorite devs. And as I said, I really enjoyed his game when he was here. He had an off year last year. I mean, again, everyone on the defense had an off year last year, so you can't blame him for it. Like I said, he wanted to move on. We got a fair deal for him. Like I said, congratulations to him. Enjoy Utah. Hopefully, I don't know, find Mormonism or something. I don't know. Whatever.
It's the Stormin' Mormons, baby. They're coming.
Stormin' Mormons. We still got to find a name. Come on, we're waiting for a name.
I think I want to say it was Clayton Keller. They said that the Yeti is probably going to be what they're rocking with, and honestly, that's fine.
I'm fine with that. That's a great name actually. I like that.
But looking back at looking forward to some of the other players that you guys have signed. You're bringing back an old face that was there for a couple years and then left and is now coming back. Stefan Nason signs 3 years, 275.
Enjoyed. Like I said, we talked about this on I think the last podcast. I think always enjoyed his play, even when we had those horrible Devils teams in like the early, the late tens. They were terrible teams, and he was one of the bright shining things out of coming out of those seasons. And he was a hard-nosed player, and he followed it up in Carolina and actually started putting the puck in the net and got his money. And he's coming to Jersey, and like a third liner, perfect. I love it. Another old Devil coming back, Tomas Tatar.
Yes,
Tuna,
we got Tuna.
We got the Tuna back. That was another one I thought was a great signing for the low cap hit's gonna take on him. He was really good with the team. He went somewhere else, signed his contract with Colorado. Didn't work out with Colorado. Got traded. It didn't work out in Seattle.
Yep.
And then now, like I said, he's back. Hopefully he can refine that Tuna magic he had 2 years ago, and that would be another great third line addition to this team. Second line, even if if we're down, a couple players here and there.
Mm-hmm. And to the last big addition, unless you have any more that I have on here, like you showed on the back of your shirt.
Yes.
There, the big fish has been secured in the crease. You got Jacob Markstrom. We talked about it last year, but now that we're getting ready for training camp and the preseason to start, we can start talking about that more. Jacob Markstrom is a Devil. You guys are fully solidified in a team that is going to really be able to get it done, lock it down, and be a tough team to play against again. Because that was an issue that a lot of teams were struggling against the Devils with 2 seasons ago. The Devils were a tough team to play against. They had a lot of different pieces that could do a lot of different things. And now they're really starting to find their way back into that. They're really starting to weave their way back into the picture of this team is what they want it to be. It's solid. And Markstrom, you're going to get that solid goaltending that you need. You're not going to have a carousel of goaltenders like you had all the time last season between Schmid, Dawes, Vitek, all of them.
Vitek, yep, all of them.
So this team's starting to look scary. Looking at the...
And even after that, even if, for rest, Jake Allen, a great trade last year for him. He's his last year here. he knows he's the backup. I'm sure he's gonna come out almost like a Jonathan Quick last year came out and tried to perform big time when this team needed him. So I feel like a Jake Allen resurgence coming back as the backup goalie as the Devils, just because he has that that strong number one in front of him. It's like they're gonna feed off each other. I feel like this year, and I feel like it's gonna be a really good year for both of them, coming off again with Markstrom being in Calgary where there's not a winning culture there right now. And with Jake Allen, on the back end of his career right now, Stanley Cup winner, but on the back end of his career, maybe make a resurgence here. I'm way more excited about the tandem going into this year than I was last year. And last year I was excited because of again Schmidt's playoff performance against the Rangers, Vitek's regular season that he had, over over all these wins and stuff. And like I said, it just fell apart last year, and they both of them realized they just weren't the guy for this team. And luckily, like I said, they had to give up stuff, but they made the big move. They brought in Markstrom. He's excited to be here. I love any interview I've seen. I think he's on the Spit and Chicklets podcast, I think last week, and he was saying how excited he is to be a Devil, and when I hear that, it just makes me excited. Like, all right, this guy's a world-class goalie. Let's get it going. Like I said, I'm super excited for this season to start. It's like even worse than last year, and I had way big fever last year.
Oh yeah, you were ready to go for the season last year.
And I am ready now, and I will find a way on Sunday to watch some of that game. I think it's on MSG. Oh, can we get into that for a second?
Sure.
I know we're talking about it's gonna probably just go right into the Ranger talk. What is this Gotham Sports app? I can't grasp it. It is the stupid conglomeration of these. I don't get it. I had to pay, like I said, because I have to pay because I don't have cable. I had to pay the $30 a month last year. I was okay with it to watch my team. I was like, that's fine. But now you add teams I don't even care about, and now I'm jacked up to $40. I find it to be. I mean, of course, I'm gonna get it because me and Maddie watch every game. We're gonna do it. I will budget it out for it. But like in this economy, dude. I mean, come on, guys. I mean, you can't give somebody, give us a break here with, especially local sports. I feel like, and I always feel like local sports should be on local TV anyway. So, there should be a lot more games on like on the old like Channel 11, the PIX in New York here, and Channel 9 and Channel 5, just local like broadcasts and stuff. But I digress. I just wanted to get that out there real quick.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you because $40 to be able to watch one team, that's ridiculous. I mean,
I know.
why am I? Because how many teams are going to be on there? It's going to be the Rangers, Devils, Islanders.
Which again, I will follow because again, we do the podcast and I
Of course.
catch a Rangers game or an Islanders game here and there. I'm fine with that. But like you said, you're getting the Knicks. I don't care. I mean, I do kind of care, but I don't care. You're gonna get. I don't even think you're getting the Nets games this year. I'm not even sure, but if you do, you get Nets, Yankees, who I don't care about, Nets, who I don't care about, and it's like.
Yeah, the teams are the Yankees, the Knicks, the Nets, the Rangers, Islanders, Devils, and Sabres.
Yeah, and the Sabres you can't even get in this area because we're not in the Buffalo area. That's only through the Buffalo thing. If you got to read it says like local blackouts or blah 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 whatever. I mean, don't get me wrong. I would watch a Sabres game just for the heck of it. So
yeah, to see if they still suck, which they probably will.
See if Buffalo will copy our chant back after like 10 games.
But one last thing on the Devils before we start talking more about the Rangers stuff. I believe you mentioned it at the beginning of the episode. We got a little bit of a Madden curse kind of going on with the Devils defense. Yes. As many of you guys know, the cover athletes of the NHL 25 video game are the Hughes brothers, Jack, Quinn, and Luke. And you normally expect something to happen there. And something happened. Luke Hughes ended up getting hurt. I think he should be back for the start of the regular season.
They're saying 6 to 8, so that he might not be back.
All right.
He might miss a couple games coming up in the first couple weeks of the season. But yeah, I think it was a 6 to 8. He heard it doing training in Michigan and stuff, and Like I said, he was caught with a sling at the Michigan football game. They caught him on camera with the arm in a sling, and then that went out to all the Devils fans, and they were like, then it was like trending on X, and then all of a sudden, Devils had to come out with, he suffered an injury during training. He'll be out 6 to 8 weeks, I think it is. So,
All right.
yeah, I said so. Yeah, a little bit of a NHL version of the Madden curse going on, but also again, the one person who loved that cover. My daughter,
Yeah.
my daughter loves that cover because she is the biggest Hughes simp there is out there. This little girl cannot get enough of the Hughes brothers. Not even just all of them.
I mean,
Uh,
they're all two out of the three are fantastic players. You got to get a little bit more out of Luke to really get an idea of what he's doing. But
yeah, exactly.
I mean, fair enough. They're all good players to keep an eye on, watch out for,
Hmm.
and we hope Luke has a speedy recovery. And
Absolutely,
let's hope he
yes.
has a better season than last because last year he was getting burnt behind his own net all the time in his own
Yeah.
defensive zone. So
Good.
maybe with a
Good.
little bit of extra time off, he could get some extra rehabilitation, some extra strength out there, and can really be that solid defenseman that the Devils picked up.
Yep.
And time will tell, and we shall
Time will
see.
tell.
But
Yes.
with
Let's jump over
that,
to.
we jump over to the boys in blue.
Yep.
And last season, they had a 55, 23, and 4 record, 114 points, won the division, President's Trophy winners, and as we all know, knocked out in the Eastern Conference Finals by the eventual Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers in 6 games. This offseason, they didn't do much, but I don't feel like they needed to do a lot.
Right.
You saw the vision of the team already. A lot of the guys that you had last season are already locked up for at least another couple years.
Right.
Going into this season and later on, you're worried about two things. Is Igor going to get signed to his contract? And is Loft going to make sure he has an extension? Those are
Right.
the two guys you need to worry about. You got people coming off the books at the end of this season. I'm pretty sure my favorite defenseman is going to be off the books next season. So hopefully we can figure that out once the season's done. We'll have some extra money to work with cuz right now they only have $623,476 in cap space. You cannot worry about any kind of contracts right now. And okay, so we got one more year after this upcoming season of Jacob Truba, and then you could start worrying about more stuff. But
Or
after
maybe
this,
maybe she's not graduating this year.
hmm?
She's not graduating this year. His wife's not graduating. He can't get rid of him after this season.
Oh, I don't know. You may be able to.
I said
Uh,
maybe she's graduating this year. Maybe you can get rid of him now. That because that was the main reason he wanted to stay.
yeah, it was because of the residency. But
Yep.
you you're going to be dropping 4.5 million off the books next year with Ryan Lindgren's deal being done because he signed that 1 year deal from avoiding arbitration during the off season. And honestly, if it's a matter of using that money to re-sign Igor and Loth and getting rid of Lindgren, I have no issue doing that. That's 4.5 million that you can use for more important players that aren't made of glass bones and paper skin.
Yeah, totally.
So, I mean, fantastic defenseman, fantastic player, plays really good with Adam Fox, but with Adam Fox, anybody can play with him and look
Oh,
fantastic. So,
absolutely.
honestly, I'd rather have two guys that are genuinely solid in knowing how they play because Laffy still has so much room to improve. Everybody in training camp says that he's looking a lot better, a lot stronger,
Nice.
and you know what you're getting with Igor. You know you need him to keep the window that you have right now open.
Right. Oh, absolutely. That's like your cornerstone right now.
Yeah.
Now, like I said, what's his? I mean, what's fair for him right now? Because we've heard a lot of reports, coming out during this off season was He wants 14, 13 a year. Swayman. You heard the story about the Swayman deal was that Boston just. It was what was it, 6 for 6 something. He's not taking that.
I want to say it was 4 for 6.
Okay, so and that's for Swayman, who's been really, really good. Yes, he won't have his hug buddy with him this year, but he's still a solid goaltender in that net for the Boston Bruins, and I'm sure he's looking for at least 10 to 11, and if he's asking for that, like I said, what's Igor gonna want, and what moves you're gonna have to make to actually get this deal done for him. It's a really tough decision coming up for the Rangers. That, like I said, this might be the year that they need to just they have everyone right now. They need to hit the hustle button. I feel like it's one of those. The door could be closing, coming up, but who knows? But I feel like if the Rangers had the opportunity, this would be the year for it.
Oh yeah, this has to be the all-in year. And if you're not able to go all in, you're going to keep having the same issues that you did. Because even with the moves that you made in the offseason, your team is there, but it all comes down to the way the lines are. You have to keep together that second line of Panarin, Trocheck, and Loff, but they can't be the second line. They gotta be that first top line, because that's what you think of when you think of a top line for an original six team, for a team in a large market like New York. It shouldn't be 33-year-old Chris Kreider, 31-year-old Mika Zibanejad, and 33-year-old Riley Smith. That can't be your top line. That's an NHL career mode fucking roster that got simulated in, and it's just like, oh, why is that player there? It's because the computer told it to be. Like, that shouldn't be your first line. That should be your second line, because then you can worry about your third line being Will Cooley, Filipino, Capo Caco, have a new kid line.
Right.
And that's another big thing. You gotta have Caco step up for a fucking change. Like,
this is it for, like I said, this is it for him. He's got to produce something more than what he's been producing the last few years. He's got to come up big for this team.
Oh yeah.
And like I said, this is part of their future, and if he wants to be part of their future, he's got to get it together this year. And he's going to be a very interesting, watch this year to see how he reacts to, having an okay but not great year last year. And like I said, he's got to turn it around, or it's going to be curtains for him in New York. And I felt like this last year with him. I felt like he needed a brand new start somewhere. And they re-signed him for the year, right?
Yeah.
Was it just 1 year? Yeah. They re-signed him for the year, and like I said, this is his chance. If he's not going to do it in New York now, he's not doing it, and he's going to have to go somewhere else for a fresh start. Now, who would pick him up? Somebody's going to pick him up for a little bit of a 1 year, 2 year deal. That's all he's going to get then.
Yeah.
So he's got to, this is his year that if he wants to make the money, he wants to prove to that he's part of this team and he's part of the future of this team. He needs to step up this year, and there's no doubt about it this year.
There's just question. He's starting to get to an age. He's 23 years old. You really got to start thinking about, is this the time that he can finally step up? I know with the year he got drafted, 2019, 2020 being his first season, everything that happened with COVID and everything. Right. But that's not an excuse anymore. It's 2024, 2025. We are at a point now where Loff has started to develop beautifully.
Oh, absolutely.
Heedle's been fantastic when he's healthy. And that's a big thing going into training camp. Heedle's full to go, able to go, no problems.
And just fingers crossed that, like I said, if nothing happens to him, nothing, devastating or anything like that. Because again, like we were talking about all last year, he's a really good player for that team, and it was it'd be a devastating loss, and for him as well. I mean, just like I said, just the amount of concussions. I mean, they were just talking this week. I mean, another sports take about Tua being
Oh God,
knocked
yeah.
out of the game on Thursday Night Football last week, and he should be retiring because of his concussion syndrome.
It's his
Basically, he
third and
got.
it's his third concussion in his third straight season. I mean that
Yeah.
after a certain point, I was talking to funnily enough, I was talking to my coworker about this on Monday. I respect your love for the game, but you also gotta have that love for yourself.
Absolutely,
And
absolutely.
if you're getting to a point where you're constantly getting concussed, even with all the preventative measures that the NFL has now with the Guardian caps,
Right.
and just trying to find ways to work around concussions and head injuries and blows to the head, if you're not able to take care of yourself, why you're gonna be another jellyhead along with the rest of them at this point. And we can't have Smucker's brains anymore in sports. It's
No, I mean,
not working.
yeah, I mean, you've seen the stories. I mean, just on my team alone, my football team, the Patriots. I mean, poor Junior Seau, God bless him, took his life because of CET. I mean, Aaron Hernandez, we know that story
Mm.
full. But I mean, there's a a documentary show coming out on it this year, this fall and stuff. So this stuff is not a playing. And it's funny that you brought up the Guardian cap because I was thinking about it. And does the NHL have anything that they have similar to the Guardian cap? Because when I watched I think it was the guy from the Bears. I think it is. I forgot one of the. It was one of the teams that I was watching a TikTok video, and he's the one that I want to wear this hat because I want to see my kids grow up. I want to see I want to live a long time and stuff. So I was just curious if there was any protection for NHLers, especially like when little kids are playing this. You don't want to start getting concussions at the age of 9, 10,
No.
years old, and especially how young these hockey players start out. They're starting out when they could skate before they could walk most times. I mean, really. So it's
So
a bit concerning, about the league and just the sport in general.
yeah, so the NHL itself has no like official
Right.
set of rules or anything regarding Guardian caps, but the actual company Guardian that makes the caps for the football players have
Okay.
ones listed on their website for hockey.
Okay, that's good. I like that. I like to hear that.
So
Okay.
you do
Like I
have
said,
that option.
okay, that's fantastic because somebody like a Cheeto that I would really look into that just for his safety. Again, yes, it may look goofy or whatever, but who
Yeah, but
cares?
you're gonna look goofier trying to stumble and bumble your way off the
Exactly.
ice
Exactly.
after getting bashed in the head again.
Hmm.
So after a while, it doesn't matter how ridiculous it may look because it doesn't even look that crazy. Like the picture that they have on their website here shows it on top of a proper helmet with the full college cage, and it looks fine. I mean,
I Yeah, I
they're
would think it would look fine too. Like I said, especially because I said because any NFL helmets are kind of weirdly shaped, where an NHL helmet kind of like has like a flatter top on it,
yeah,
where
if
like the dome kind of makes with the dome helmet, and then you got the Guardian cap on top. It does make it look like your head's like 12,000 high. But I figured like in NHL because the helmets are so smaller on them and so tight to their heads that it would look like decent on them.
yeah,
And
yeah.
especially like I said, for players that are suffering from concussions, I feel like NHL should either not step up and make it a rule, but at least look into it further. I haven't heard anything coming out of the offices about anything like that. But again, football's more hard nosed. They're hitting each other, everything. And hockey's that rare occasion where you get the big hit and
Mhm.
you're knocking somebody out. So, it's probably less of an issue for them. But I feel like again, just bringing it up, just on a podcast, that somebody would hear this and say, "Hey, that's a great idea for for anybody in the NHL or the AHL or any level of hockey right now."
Yeah, we'd be pioneers, Gunk. But
We'd be pioneers,
the
pioneering.
The biggest safety measure that the NHL and the entire hockey world has been really focusing on, like we had talked about last season, is the neck protectors, the
The neck,
slash guards.
yes.
And I agree that those should be mandatory for all players too. You saw a lot of players really start wearing them after the incident that happened in one of the other foreign leagues, where
Hmm.
the old Pittsburgh player got
Yeah,
cut on the
Adam
neck and
Johnson.
passed away during a game.
Yeah, Adam Johnson. Yep.
So to really start looking into safety issues and everything is always very important in these sports because they are so
Absolutely.
fast. These players are so heavy. They are proper adults. And
And
if
this
you
is, and, oh, I'm sorry.
no
Go
go
ahead.
good.
No, I was just saying, and the sport is just getting faster and faster as time goes by. I mean, you we made the comparison again from last season when we had our podcast. I go back, I go back to the 80s and 90s, and you had your fast skaters then, but some these players right now all play at such a fast pace, and like I said, just one little mistake and like something like that could happen, and it ruins lives forever. And like I said, and to have a little piece of something here just to protect yourself and you know protect your livelihood. I mean, I don't see a problem with it. I feel like it should be mandatory, but you know, unfortunately, like I said, this happened in another country, another thing. So you know, hopefully players take this more seriously because I agree. Like I said, we don't want to see anybody get hurt, and I don't care if you're a Ranger, a Devil, whatever team. Nobody wants to see injuries,
No,
and nobody wants to see permanent injuries. So you know, that's our take on safety in NHL right there.
damn straight. But the Rangers with these signings need to be safe as well because
Absolutely.
they made a couple low risk, high reward signings. They traded for some players. I had mentioned Riley Smith. That was pretty much the big deal that they made
Yeah.
throughout the offseason, acquiring him on free agency day for a conditional fifth round pick in 2025 and a second round pick in 2027. You know where he's slotting in. You know who he's playing next to. He's going to be with Zibanejad and Kreider. Last
Right.
year, put up 40 points with Pittsburgh. Didn't really mesh with Pittsburgh the way he did in, say, Vegas. But, I mean, 13 goals, 27 assists for the 40 points in 76 games played. Hopefully, he could be the answer because Blake Wheeler wasn't. I mean, at times he could have been,
Right.
but with just Wheeler's age and his injuries, he wasn't really going to be that guy that you were looking for to
Right.
really kickstart the hearts of Mika and Kreider. So
Right.
you lose him as he's an unrestricted free agent because he signed only a 1 year deal last year. So I like the idea of Riley Smith. He's still pretty good, not super old. I mean, he matches the age of Kreider and Mika pretty
Right.
well. Like I keep saying, that's got to be the second line. So
No,
if they
absolutely.
get
It's
those
gotta
solid
be.
second line minutes and you could see that improvement, because they just need playmakers. They need somebody that can skate well with the puck,
Yep.
get it to them. And Riley Smith has shown that he can do that wherever he plays. But the other guy that the Rangers brought in that I think is kind of an interesting move because he'll be able to slot into that fourth line spot with probably Jimmy Vesey and I guess I guess the Rempster. I guess
The
he's making the
Raptor.
team. I
Yeah,
guess.
he's gonna. Come on now.
I mean, I wouldn't mind it. You gotta prove yourself, and I feel like Rempe has enough of the skill needed to be able to do that.
I mean,
And
he's not gonna be your top line guy. I mean, he is what he
yeah,
is. Enjoy, like I always tell you, enjoy those guys for who they are. When you know they're on the ice, you know there could be something going on. I learned that last year with Mr. Curtis McDermott. Even not even that Rangers game. I mean, just the games he played in after the trade from Colorado. I mean, I watched him and I was just like, yeah, I see him on. As soon as I hear his name, I'm like, yeah, something's gonna happen. Either he's gonna get a penalty, He's gonna, start a fight, do something. He's gonna do something on the ice, and it's entertaining. So, for a few minutes a night, throw him out there,
Sure,
be entertained.
pretty much.
There you go.
But what I'm going to be entertained to see is the Rangers with this signing of Sam Carrick for 3 years, $1 million per. Stats last season in 77 games played for Edmonton, 10 goals, 6 assists for 16 points. I mean, he's 32. So this contract's going to take him to 35. You know he's going to be put on the bottom 6, but honestly, I like that it's only $1 million. You can dump him in the minors if you really have to. It's
There you
not the
go.
biggest of deals,
No.
and there's no cap penalties for doing it. I'm seeing a lot of people on like Instagram and everywhere saying that he skates and plays hard. He can use his grit to provide energy on the fourth line, and if he can mesh with VZ and allow Rempe to go out and do his thing while Rempe creates space. VZ, you know what you got. He was fantastic for the Rangers last season. Really
Yes,
impressed
he
me with
was.
his play.
Yes, absolutely.
And yeah, I mean, Sam Carrick is serviceable. He's You're hoping to get a little bit more out of him than you did, say, Barclay Goodrow.
Right.
But honestly, with the way Goodrow was done, he got did dirty by Drury during the offseason, getting claimed by San Jose the way he
Yeah,
did.
that was a huge thing. I remember. Yeah,
It
that was an interesting story when I heard that come across.
it just felt slimy.
Yeah.
Because with the regular season for Barclay Goodrow, that's not what you have him for. Like I said last season, solid 16-game player for the playoffs.
Yep.
He's going to get you those goals that you need. He's going to get you those points that you need. He's going to show you that he could play when the games are meaningful. I mean, all games are meaningful, but for those games, you need to wake up a lot better and a lot faster.
Hmm.
And you just get tossed to the curb after what you did in the
Yeah.
past season in the playoffs and everything. I didn't really like it. I feel like you could have seen what he could have done for one more year.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
But that pretty much locks up the offensive group. You knew what you were getting with the defense. I mean, you lost
Right.
Eric Gustafson this year. He signed a 2-year deal in Detroit.
Right.
I'm kind of happy he's gone. He was never like wowing me with a lot of his play.
Yeah.
Like he was always there, but sometimes he was like a liability on the ice. So
Absolutely.
you lose Gustafson, but you get somebody like a Zach Jones, a young guy that can definitely try to step up. You need him to step up and show that he's able to play, because he's shown at times that he can, but it's just a matter of who he's playing with and really trying to figure out where he fits in this lineup, because right now your 7 defensemen that you have listed on the team, I have this pulled up on Puckpedia.
Hmm.
Adam Fox, Jacob Truba, Ryan Lindgren, Keandre Miller, Braden Schneider, Zach Jones, and Chad Ruedel. Ruedel, you're probably not going to see unless somebody gets hurt.
Yeah, somebody's hurt. Right.
So right now, I mentioned it last year. My ideal D pairings right now would be Fox Lindgren, Miller Schneider, and then you do Truba Jones. Because last year at times you would drop Truba down to the third pairing if you had Zach Jones in the lineup. You saw that they played well together.
Right.
They had a solid cohesion together. It looked good. You know Miller and Schneider play fantastic together. They play a lot better than Miller did with Truba.
Right.
And you know what you're getting with Fox and Lindgren. It's
Yeah.
just a matter of knowing what you have, knowing what works. You can't keep going back to, well, we ran with this all the time, so this is what we're going with. No, you can't. You can't do that.
Right.
And looking at the offensive group before we finish up, it's a depth signing. Had This guy had 2 points with Anaheim last year in 45 games played. His name is Bo Grulix.
Never heard of him.
Neither have I until we got him. I honestly, I thought it was when I first saw the notification from the Rangers app on my phone saying that we signed him. I thought it said Bo Giroux. So I was just like, oh, cool. I was like, we got Claude. No, we got Bo. So,
Exactly.
so
I'd rather have Bo the dog than Bo the player.
but yeah, Bo Grulick's center is going to be an AHL guy. But the biggest question mark with the Rangers offensive group is Othman going to be able to make the team for opening night?
Right.
I think he has a solid chance of doing so. And that's pretty much something that time will tell. You got to look at the preseason and how training camp goes because the Rangers preseason starts Sunday against Boston. And I mean, you'll lose a couple guys. You'll a couple more guys. You lost Roslovic for a to a year deal that he signed in Carolina. Eh, he was okay.
Yeah.
He was going to try to be another answer for Mika and Kreider, which those names are always going to be the ones that you're looking at to see if they can actually step up because everybody else was able to for the most part.
Right.
The only player that I'm genuinely kind of sad that left was Wenberg
That's understandable.
because he was able to step up in the playoffs, especially in that Florida series.
Yeah.
Scored the big overtime winner, and I want to say it was game 2. He played fantastic in the defensive zone, and if you kept Wenberg, you didn't really need to make the move of signing Sam Carrick.
Right.
But I mean, the Rangers were just strapped with money leading into the offseason, so you were really trying to figure out what can we do with what we got, and this is
Right.
what they got. So honestly, I see them having another really good season. I'm not shitting on them in any kind of way, saying,
Oh
"Oh,
no.
they're gonna be a wild card team, this, that, whatever."
No. No.
But
They're
you're not gonna be winning the President's Trophy again. You may not be first in the division.
right.
I mean, it's going to be a battle for the top 3 spots between Carolina if they can keep up with all the players that they lost,
Right.
with the Devils making all the moves that they did,
Right.
and hoping that you could just hang in there with the big boys again, like they
Right.
know they can. They got their own big fish,
That's it. Yep.
and yeah, we'll pretty much be seeing what goes on with that, but time will tell.
Yeah.
Preseason starts for both teams that we've talked about. The Rangers,
Right.
my Rangers, and your Devils on Sunday.
Right. I can't
Devils
wait.
Islanders cannot wait.
Oh.
But unless you got anything else, I think we're gonna be able to wrap it up for you guys this week.
No, like I said, the only thing is, like I said, let's just bow our heads for a second for our Jersey boy,
Mm-hmm.
Johnny Gaudreau. I mean, no, we didn't get a chance to talk about it. Terrible story. We hate bringing up bad stuff on the podcast, but for right now, like I said, we're just gonna just take like 30 seconds and hug your family today because he won't be able to, and he found out his wife is pregnant, and super sad story, especially being a Jersey boy. And I know on the podcast before I have crapped on him because we were gonna sign him, and then he went to Columbus. That's all in the effing past now. Pray for his family. Pray for the hockey world. Pray for everyone and his brother, of course, too. I mean, can't forget Matt. Matt Gaudreau too,
Mm.
that passed away by don't fucking drink and drive,
Yeah.
fucking douchebags. Before we start this, fucking stop drinking and driving. So fucking stupid. You got too many fucking things out there. Uber, Lyft, fucking taxis, fucking anybody you know. Don't you fucking drink and
Yeah,
drive.
and Uber costs less than your bar tab did.
Damn fucking straight. I'm sorry.
So no,
I apologize for
please,
that rant
I
again. America.
I
Anyway,
I
like I said,
agree, but
so yeah,
yeah,
like I said, just let's actually. I feel like Nick. I think we should just end the podcast with a few moments of silence and then fade it to black, my friend. I
all
will
right.
talk to you next week.
Yes, you will, Gunk. I'll talk to you next week. I
You
love
got it.
you,
I
gang. We
love you too.
love you. Tell everybody that you love them, and yeah, that'll be it.
That's it.